Hello, welcome to Martine's MS video blog, episode 13. The last time I told you, it was about 2 weeks ago, I was about to undergo a hysteroscopy just to examine uterine cavity and cervix, seeing as some suspicions had been raised ahead of potential immune suppressant treatment for MS upcoming perhaps in December on my next neuro attendance. Now, I underwent that hysteroscopy the next day, and seemingly initially everything went well as far as I was concerned. I felt well, although they said technically the procedure had been impossible. They couldn't access into the uterus because it was tethered over by adhesions, but they did manage to get the fluid up in preparation for visualization. But normally that raises the uterus and enables the scope to enter and to see and to take samples. It wasn't possible. So the plan was to follow up with a scan and see were there any changes. Anyway, the following day, I woke up feeling okay, but during the day, I suddenly got a sharp pain down lower left, bladder urgency, and feeling of pressure. It wasn't, and also shaking, chills, and a fever going up and beyond 104. So I put up with that over Saturday night, but I knew there was something very wrong. I went to the emergency department by ambulance the next day, arriving about midday, and spent 15 hours in the emergency department. Was started on IV antibiotics, fluids, etc., painkiller, and eventually got a trolley, a further 7 or 8 hours on the trolley, but finally afforded a room in the private hospital under the public scheme. So I was treated there for several days for a tubo-ovarian abscess, although they only did the scan a few days later and saw what was happening to me. I was let home on oral antibiotics, and yesterday I finished those antibiotics, just one type of antibiotic, Augmentin. Now, they did warn me that it could very likely recur, that ideally they would like to do a hysterectomy, because once you get an abscess like that, it tends to stay there, and especially when you're in menopause, because the tissues aren't as vital as they would be in your younger years. But the whole thing is, they said to do a hysterectomy would be very complicated because of the amount of adhesions I have from 3 prior surgeries. There would have to be an ICU bed on standby. It would be very complex. Adhesions are extremely vascular, so when you start paring them away, they start to bleed. It requires blood replacement, fluid replacement. Post-surgery abscesses very often build up in the area where the surgery has been, and they have to be drained and treated. So it's a prolonged course of recovery after such an operation. But my problem is that Professor Tubridy in the MS clinic wants me to be free of any potential underlying infections of any kind. And if I have this underlying abscess, well, I can't be treated for MS because it's immune suppressant, and immediately I'd be liable to get sepsis very quickly. You know, it's not compatible with treatment for any kind of immune suppression. So I'm in a bit of a dilemma at the moment, and I'll just tell you about that in a minute. I have gone to my GP and looked for a referral for a second opinion or further opinion to the Beacon Hospital Women's Centre to be able to see one of their gynecologists there who might be expert in the area and be able to advise me on the feasibility of surgery, the wisdom of it. Maybe they'd be able to get it done, because if I were to await an ICU bed in Vincent's Public Hospital for elective or semi-elective surgery, it wouldn't... I could be waiting any amount of time. I could be waiting months and be always under this threat of the abscess raising its ugly head in my belly at any time. And these things, they come on so suddenly, like they hit you like a brick. So I got my GP to actually do the referral electronically, but he came back and said he wasn't able to do it on the health link. I don't know why. This is the second time it's happened. It happened over the MS referral. I don't know what he's doing, or what he's not doing, but it's not working for me anyway. It was posted. If I had any control of it, I would have asked him to print it out and I would have posted it by registered mail, because the hospital have said, oh, they haven't got it yet. It could be any amount of time. And it kind of goes into a non-priority pile when it arrives by post. So I'm not well served anyway by it all. And I'm a little bit fed up with it, to be honest.